I want to conclude, and I know I value your time a lot, and I did say 30 minutes, and we're getting close to that. Any advice that you could share with, I usually say new agents. I'm going to say experienced agents this time. Those you work, you now are in and around your community of real estate. There are agents that have been there for many years that don't have near the success you do. What would you advise them?
It's going to sound, David, counterintuitive, but I think it's the core. It's the core fact of making any kind of marketing effort work, and it is you've got to walk into it understanding that you are playing the long game. And let me unpack that for a second.
Please do.
I've watched a number of agents say, okay, I'm going to, I've had this great property close, or I've had 2 or 3 closings in a short period of time. I've got a war chest. I'm going to do some marketing. And I immediately get worried, because what I watch them do is they will make one effort to do one splash, and then they've used all of the budget that they set aside. And then they stand back and they're waiting for the phone to ring, waiting for something to happen. And it doesn't, because fundamentally, that's not the way marketing works. You've got to, direct marketing especially, you've got to repeatedly touch a potential client in a memorable way. And you're going to do that literally for months before you start to see a result. Great example is what I went through. We started mailing to our initial list of 1,200 in November. We mailed every single month. My phone rang in response to one of my mailings for the very first time in March.
Got it.
Now, it continues to ring because we've now got the easy way to describe it is salience. We've got memorable visibility.
Right.
So the first thing when you look at doing anything in marketing, particularly if they're going to look at doing something that is direct marketing, you've got to recognize from day one that you're playing the long game. You got to make multiple impressions before you're going to start triggering any kind of response to it. And that's the reason that so many agents will look at it, they'll have spent something, and then they stand back and say, well, marketing just doesn't work. Well, guys, I'm living proof marketing works when it's done using the tools and resources that are available and practicing good marketing, which is multiple touches over time.
I think the multiple touches, and your marketing background is key here. And there's a couple of great lessons you pointed out that I'm going to unpack, and that is the information is relevant. We're not putting recipes on pieces. And the other thing is that I'm sure from your marketing, and I don't mean about your color of your hair, but I tell the story about a Q-tip. And that is, if I do a seminar and ask the audience, if I ask you to go get me something to clean my ears, what do you get? And the audience will always say a Q-tip. And in fact, that's the brand. They've got a cotton swab. What most people don't understand is that it took Johnson & Johnson 8.4 contacts before you actually called the product their name, like the old Xerox instead of a copies. So you understood that 8.4 contacts. I also like to point out, look, Wayne, if I could do 3 mailers, most agents will give up after 1, as you said, maybe 2. But if I could do 3 mailers into your neighborhood and take all of your business, I wouldn't be standing here. I'd be in everybody else's market. Mm-hmm. Right? I'd take the 7.5 million pieces and put my name on them.
Of course.
And then serve the business out. Right? So I think that was a really, really good point, that it has to come from your marketing background to know, and to have the patience to know. I think I admire that. And that's why when I started this conversation, I said, if you gave me $1,000 to bet against you or for you, having never met you, I would have bet against it, because my 30 years of doing this, there's not a lot of agents that come out and know that right out of the gate. Usually I have to talk them off the cliff. They'll go even 6 months, which is just 2 months shy of perfection, right? Mm-hmm. The 8 contacts, and they'll want to quit. I had this conversation this morning with the young lady that we're coaching, and she has a budget set aside to do 6 months. And I said, Brooke, here's what I want you to do. She has a gift from someone to do the first 6 months. Mm-hmm. I said, you're going to put $600 a month away, starting right now, every single month. So when the 6 months come up, you still have a full budget in which to work with, right? And by that time, she should have enough traction and enough sales. Anything else you'd like to add, Wayne?
No, David, other than my appreciation for you and your team as an incredibly focused, valuable resource, you started the conversation, or early in the conversation, we talked about the number of transactions that I did in 2021. And the last piece of that is pertinent is how many of those were a direct result of our direct marketing effort. And I will tell you, all but one.
Wow. So 6 out of 7.
6 out of 7.
Close to $10 million in sales.
Better than 10 million.
Yeah, I'm not going to disclose your commission, but I think it more than paid for the marketing piece.
Easily. That wasn't an issue.
No, well, you know what though? Again, I'm going to leave it at this. For the first 6 months, you didn't have an income to pay for your marketing.
I did not.
Me. But now you're covered, and you'll be, amazingly enough, and you can always say, take this to the bank. If you had 6 this year, my goal is to have 10 next year, and then 16. And then we're going to get into that 3-year period where I'm going to try and get you up to that 30% market share on your own, not with 2 teams. Once we get there, we'll have to talk about additional strategies. And that just depends. I always want to honor your lifestyle as well. So if 30 million in sales is good and you and your wife have time to enjoy each other and you're not slaves to this business, I'm going to say hang on and just leave it at that.
Of course.
If you want more and build a team, I can help you do that as well, as you know. Wayne, thank you very, very much.
It's been a pleasure.